We have got to talk about stingy men. I don't even know why I haven't done this any sooner. I guess because here and there it's come up in various episodes because stingy men are the root of most problems when it comes to dating men. But I thought it would make sense to give this topic its own episode. Yeah, because the last time I spoke about stingy men, I was speaking about dating in a stingy country, which has its own episode dedicated to it. Because dating in a stingy country, girl, that comes with its own issues, especially due to the fact that if you're in a stingy country, it's easier to feel like your options are fewer. There is more pressure to cave into the belief that you just need to settle for a man who's going to split bills with you and who you're going to have to send him half of the money he paid for the date. Germany, cough, cough. But when it comes to dating stingy men, wherever you are in the world, this episode will resonate with you. Because as someone who hates stingy men, I'm going to have a good time cussing them out in this episode. So get comfy because this one is going to be very in-depth. I want to jump right in. First of all, if you're dating stingy men, best believe, there's not going to be a time when they're going to stop being stingy. A lot of women think that if they partner with a man who is stingy, and for those who might not be familiar with the phrase stingy means someone who is tight-pocketed, frugal, very averse to spending their money, especially when they're dating someone. So if you're dating someone who's stingy and you're thinking one day when he has more money, he will be more generous because he has the ability now to spend more. Girl. I'm gonna need to stop you right there and let you know that's not gonna happen. Do you know what's gonna happen? He'll continue to be stingy. It's just that he has more money. That's why you come across a lot of men who have money who are stingy. Just because a man is rich doesn't mean he's generous. And just because a man is not rich doesn't mean he can't be generous. Because it's all down to a man's personality and how he feels about you. Those are the two key components that determine what kind of dating experience you're going to have with this man when it comes to him spending money on you. So, yes, there are men who they're not necessarily rich, but they are very generous. They want to buy you nice things. They want to help you out wherever they can. They want to give their time, their money, whatever resources available at their disposal to make your life easier, to make you feel happier, to bring you a sense of joy because they want to impress you. And that's really important. A man should always strive to impress you. I don't think that's an oppressive ideology to hold. I've had pushback from people tell me that expecting a man to impress me takes the fun out of dating. I don't know what kind of people you guys are dating, but dating is not fun to me if a man isn't striving to impress me. And I think as well, when a man is not interested in impressing you, that tells you more than enough. That tells you exactly what you need to know about him, about this relationship, and about where this whole thing is going. Because a man who actually likes you will use everything he has to impress you. And that doesn't mean that the man is perfect. I'm just saying, a man who likes you and has the means will have no issue proving that, especially if he's aware of your standards. And the beautiful thing about standards is that not all standards need to be verbally communicated. Some standards are communicated just by how you smell, just by how you look, just by how you speak English, just by the area of the city you live in. That communicates something about what you are used to and what you're likely to tolerate. So what I mean by that is, if a man meets a woman who lives in West London, let's say she's living in like the Paddington area, you know, where the rich white people be living. I don't think that man is going to be absolutely taken aback if that woman is used to a lifestyle where she enjoys going shopping, she has a Pomeranian dog. And if you don't know about Pomeranian dogs, they are probably the most expensive dogs to maintain and look after. But he wouldn't be shock, horror, mortified, surprised if she had an expensive lifestyle because she already lives in an expensive part of London. In the same way, if a man meets someone who she speaks the kind of English that tells you that she was educated at Eton, the top tier of the top tier private school where a majority of the prime ministers went to, where some of the royal family members have gone to, there's a standard of living that she's most likely used to that will require the average man having to really punch well above his capabilities to meet. She does not have to go away to say, I've been privately educated my whole life at the most expensive and highest regarded educational institutions. I have grown up around rich people all my life. I have schooled with rich people all my life. Therefore, I'm already used to a lifestyle where I enjoy certain things and I am not in a hurry or in a place of desperation to enjoy those things because I can enjoy it on my own anyway if I want to, or with my friends who are also rich. She doesn't have to say that. Her lifestyle communicates that. So why I'm making that point is a lot of women feel uncomfortable about having standards, about saying what their standards are, about even being audacious enough to reject certain men based on those men not meeting their standards. And I think that those women who feels uncomfortable about discussing your standards, this is why your appearance matters. And this is not me talking about appearance from a place of vanity and vapid, fleeting beauty trends or encouraging you to morph your appearance into something that is appealing for what the current beauty trends are. No. This is about presenting yourself as someone who cares about yourself. This is about making efforts. And effort will look different for each and every one of us because effort is relative. There's a difference between leaving the house in the clothes you wear to stay in bed and watch Netflix all day versus the clothes you wear to go to your best friend's baby shower. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You wouldn't wear the clothes you wear to sleep to your best friend's baby shower because that particular event and environment requires a different version of how you'd present yourself. So I'm saying that to say you can make the effort if you want to. And usually when you'd make that effort is if that particular situation is important enough to you. I'm not saying that you should spend every day dressing for going to a baby shower or a red carpet. What I'm saying is dress for the life that you want. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to dress like a corporate girl boss millionaire who wears blazers every day. I'm just saying you need to dress like you like yourself. And if that means you wearing your fun, quirky jewelry, your colourful hat, your favourite trainers, that's more than enough. Because that investment in your appearance communicates at a base level that you care about yourself. And within the topic of dating stingy men, it's important to look like you like yourself more than you like men. Because what stingy men love is a woman who looks nice enough to entice their horny, carnal desires, but her self-esteem is low enough for her to accept rubbish. And this is why I have to keep reminding you, stingy men are never going to change. Men are not women. The mistake a lot of women be making is they're dating men as if the men they're dating are women. And why I say that is because when you have this belief that he hasn't got money right now, but one day he will have money. And when that one day comes, he's going to spend on me for all the times he couldn't. That's a belief system that women usually hold and hold up to. Most men do not even have that type of mind, let alone to be that person who, after he didn't have anything, and the woman who stuck through with him when he had nothing, now he has everything, he's going to give it to her. Girl, that's a dice toss. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's a dice toss whether it will or will not happen. Is your future worth a dice toss? No, it's not. Your future deserves clarity, stability, and assurance, plus some insurance too, girl. I don't know about the whole idea of patching yourself up to some man who's got nothing going for him, no prospects, weak potential, barely any drive to get things going, and you think you can build him up. And on top of that, he's stingy. Ew. Why I deeply resent and despise stingy men is because on a fundamental level, it is a character flaw. If you are a stingy man who is attracted to women, it's extremely bizarre that you'd be stingy around a woman that you're attracted to, because it gives the impression that you don't like her that much. She's a placeholder. Men invest in what they see long-term potential and value yield in. So if a man is stingy around you, it means that you're a placeholder. And there are placeholders who need to hold their place for 10 years. A man is more than happy to have you as a placeholder for 10 years. Placeholder doesn't always mean temporary in the context of 3 months or a year. Sometimes you can be a placeholder for 12 years. Sometimes a man is willing to have you there as a placeholder until he finds what he can actually afford with the money he's saved from being with you, because he was able to get you at a discount. Where do you think the phrase "it's cheaper to keep her" comes from? Let me tell you about the phrase "it's cheaper to keep her." When men are lamenting about spending money on women who aren't their wives but their girlfriends, and they are venting about how expensive it is to sleep with sex workers, many men come back with the rebuttal of, that's why it's cheaper to keep her. Who is the her they're talking about? They're talking about the wife. They're saying it's cheaper to have a wife than it is to have a girlfriend or a sneaky link or an escort. All of which, if you're dating them properly, those cost money. And in theory, and in reality, yes, it actually is cheaper for a woman to be a wife than it is for a woman to be a girlfriend, because most women, when they become wives, they slow down on their expectations of that man. That's a huge mistake to make, but that's what they do. You become more affordable to that man. You tell yourself, well, he's married me now, so I don't need to make him chase me. Wrong! The chase never ends. He has to keep chasing for the rest of his life. And I know that people hearing this part are tensing up their shoulders in disagreement, because we don't want to play games. Games are for immature people. Marriage is about transparency and being able to relax into the comfort of finally finding your person. Why would you play games in marriage? Well, let me tell you why you play games in marriage. Because it's a man you're married to. If this was a marriage between two women or two men, my opinion on that is very different. But if you're choosing to marry men, baby girl, remember that it's not by force. Nobody forced you. You chose to go into that. So you need to know what the terms and conditions are. You need to read the fucking user license agreement. Don't be scrolling through all that text and just clicking I agree. No, read every single line. Know what you're signing yourself up for, because it's a man. Men are not going to change. Stingy men will never change. Horny men will never stop being horny men. Abusive men will never stop being abusive men. So if you're choosing to date men This is why I always say go for the best of the best of the best of what's available to you. It's not about going for what's available to you right now because this is the only man that's spoken to you in 3 months. There's a reason why this is the only man that's spoken to you in 3 months. Have you thought about that? Because this can go down one of two ways, yeah? Sometimes 3 months can pass and a man hasn't spoken to you because the men in your vicinity cannot afford you. That's different to 3 months have gone by and a man hasn't spoken to you because you're not taking care of yourself. He's not interested in you. You seem like someone who's really desperate for love, and that desperation is repelling men. But this one man who has finally spoken to you in that 3 months of you being desperate has spoken to you because he knows he can take more advantage of you because you're desperate. And usually desperate women attract stingy men. Yes, stingy men really hate my work. Stingy men despise the fact that I exist. And you know what they hate the most? I am very sexy. I'm very beautiful. I'm undeniably attractive. Both subjectively and objectively speaking, I'm attractive. So it's conflicting, I would say, for most men who see my work. And they don't like the fact that I call out stinginess. They try to call me a capitalist. They try to call me a gold digger. These days, I now tell men that I'm a gold digger. Like, if I can tell a man is stingy, because there's ways you can tell a man is stingy. I might need to go into that in further detail in a bit, but what I will say is that there's a vibe stingy men emanate. Yeah. And when I can tell a man is stingy, i.e., I can tell he's not likely to be someone that's going to buy me a house anytime soon, I just tell them that I'm gold digger because it just puts them off. You don't need to tell men that you're a lesbian anymore. You don't need to tell men anymore that you have a boyfriend who deep down you know he doesn't exist, so just so you can send this man away. No, that doesn't work. Because when you tell them you have a boyfriend, they'll tell you, what, you can't have friends. And when you tell them you're a lesbian, they'll tell you, can I watch? But when you tell them that you're a gold digger, they are going to run for their lives. They're going to run so fast that they will almost break their big toe running as they bump into the wall trying to get away from you because you told them you're a gold digger. Yes. Telling a broke and stingy man that you're a gold digger is like exposing a vampire to daylight. Yes. And I lean into that. I embrace it. I love using that to scare men. Gone are the days where we have to lie about being lesbian and having a boyfriend who doesn't exist just to deter men who don't want their attention. No, just tell them that you're a gold digger who likes money and watch the broke, stingy men turn to dust before your eyes. You can thank me later for helping you with more efficient ways to take out the trash. But why a lot of stingy men hate my work is because I'm calling out something they don't want you to see. Generosity as a trait usually is intrinsic to a man's personality. That's why, as I was saying earlier, a man can not have that much money but still be very generous. In the same way, a man can have a lot of money and be stingy because generosity is down to his personality and how he feels about you. And that's why for me, if a man is stingy, I'm going to assume you don't like me. And I don't date men who don't like me. Next. There is no point trying to rationalize it. Because you know what I see happen a lot of the time, yeah? And it makes me cringe and it makes me really uncomfortable when this is happening, is when a woman who is dating a stingy man is like venting to me in front of her stingy man about how he doesn't do XYZ for her. And I just feel really uncomfortable because I'm like, I deep down want to say something, but I can't say the thing that I want to say because you're not going to do it. And if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, you probably know what I'm going to say. Girl, you need to leave this man. He's not going to change. It's not going to get any better. But on the outside, what I say is, oh, he's stingy. Oh, man. You know, everyone has their way of being, isn't it? Oh, my gosh. That's crazy. No. Well, thank God you have your own money. Thank God you like getting yourself nice things. I just talk around it. I learned this from my lovely friend Bonnie, who lives in Spain. I don't know if you're listening to this, Bonnie, but Bonnie's an opera singer, and Bonnie was the one that put me onto this way of thinking. She says, give them a handful of nothing. And that just really helped things land for me. Handful of nothing is basically when you give someone a very media trained response. It's the equivalent of talking around things. And when Bonnie told me just give people a handful of nothing when you're in a very awkward situation, thank you, Bonnie, for that nugget, okay? Because when women are coming at me with this situations that I know that if I give them my opinion, they're not going to take it, I just be like, wow, thank you for sharing that. That sounds like you're dealing with a lot. I can imagine what that must feel like. But you seem like a really strong and fun and free-spirited person. So I can tell you're always going to find ways to enjoy yourself. See how that was a handful of nothing? See how I completely avoided telling her that she should leave that man right now and run for the hills? Because it's not everybody that can do it. Do you understand? Especially when there's children involved. Oh my God. Oh my God. You are dating a stingy man and you had children with a stingy man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Because what I want to say is going to make you feel upset. It won't make you feel upset because I'm scolding you. No. It's going to make you feel upset because there's only one thing you can do. And can you really do that? Most times the answer will be no. So to set the context here, if you have babies with a stingy man, that's really peak. That's really, really, really peak because it's already hard enough, right, to just up and leave a man when there's children involved. Especially if you're married and custody is a legality that you have to work around. And even if you're not married, your kids have their own relationship with their father. And sometimes it's not practical for you to just up and leave. But you're in this situation where you want him to do more for you, but he's just not going to do it. You know where I see that happen? Yeah, every Valentine's Day. Every Valentine's Day, there will be somebody on my timeline, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, there will be somebody on my timeline who will, I kid you not, they will say something like this. This Valentine's Day, my husband did nothing for me because every day is Valentine's Day in our household. He didn't buy me flowers because that's capitalism. I think Valentine's Day is a man-made day for people to be hyper-consumerist. My man is romantic every day. So if your man is romantic every day, why would he choose one day in the year to skip being romantic? That don't make any sense, girl. Your man is stingy and you deep down feel uncomfortable that he's stingy and you secretly, low-key, wish your man was a bit more generous towards you. And it's not a bad wish to have. It doesn't make you a dirty person to want your man to do more for you. What is interesting is seeing how women talk themselves out of their own desires because they're scared that their needs won't get met. And this is why I think the dating stage is the most important stage. But even before the dating stage, the mental stage of what you choose to entertain. If you decide from the beginning, from the absolute onset, that you're not going to interact with stingy men, then guess what? You're not going to have a stingy husband, are you? Because if the man who you end up dating was always generous through the period when you were dating him, even before you decided to become his girlfriend and you were just seeing each other and he was generous, 9 times out of 10, that dynamic will remain the same if you play your parts to keep him in line. What does keep him in line mean? It means don't get too comfortable with men, especially when they're doing nice things for you. And why I say that is because when you get too comfortable with men who are doing nice things for you, what that can look like is you're over grateful. You overpraise them. You start talking them out of doing nice things for you. Oh, you don't have to do that. No. Don't spend too much money. No. It's okay. You did it for me last year. No. No, there's a way to do it tactically. Like, when you're like, you spent so much money on me. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, if you say so. Like, that's different to, you've already spent so much money on me. I don't want you spending any more money on me. I just don't want it to anymore. I don't want you to. I don't want you to. We're saving for a new fridge. No, he needs to make more money so you can get the new fridge and the stuff that he's meant to get for you. Okay? That's how I see it. Yeah? But I do feel bad for women who have stingy fathers of their children. That's very peak. That's really, really peak. You're telling me Mother's Day came, he didn't do nothing for you. I heard a man say that on Mother's Day, he doesn't do anything for the mother of his children because she's not his mother. This is why I hate men. What do you mean by because she's not your mum, you're not doing anything for her on Mother's Day, even though she's the mother of your children? Are men okay? I'm side-eyeing everybody involved in the situation. Not the kids, though. The kids ain't doing anything to me. But I'm side-eyeing the woman who chose this man, and I'm side-eyeing the man. Because that man already displayed stingy traits before you barebacked him. Girl. How dare a man not do anything for you on Mother's Day when you're the mother of his children? That's really bad. Sorry, but I would leave for that. And usually, by the time you get to a situation where a man who you've had children with is not doing anything for you on Mother's Day, he's already been showing you stinginess, so you were supposed to have left anyway. Okay? I'm not saying it's impossible to leave if you have children involved, but I'm saying it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. And once you've started accepting something, it's really hard to unaccept it, if that makes sense. So once you have gone back on your word and tolerated something that you otherwise would not tolerate, it's tricky to now get that person to honor that boundary or to meet that standard because they already had you at a bargain without the standard having to be met. That's how men think. You don't have to agree with how men think to accept that that's how men think. Acceptance is very important when dating men. You need to accept men for what they are. It's very important that you accept men for the lustful, horny, negligent, selfish, lazy, ignorant losers that they are. When you accept men for the losers that they are, it helps you to interrogate your attraction to them and be more intentional with which men you choose to entertain and date. Men are not going to stop being the way they are just because you don't like it. So if you're choosing to date men, then you need to wear the correct clothing and shoes for the terrain that you're maneuvering. You would not wear hiking boots to a skating rink now, would you? No, you wouldn't. Why is that? Because hiking boots would not be appropriate for ice, would it? Do you know what would be appropriate for ice? Let's take a wild guess. What footwear is appropriate for the ice skating rink? This is a hard one. Have you had time to guess? That's right. Ice skating shoes. It's like wearing high heels to go play football, girl. It's not impossible, but it's not the appropriate footwear for the terrain. So if you're dating men, you can't go in with the mindset that you're dating a fellow woman. You're dating a man. Men are not good people. So if you're choosing to date people who are not good people, know what that comes with and prepare accordingly. If you're going for a hike up a mountain, the reason why you wear hiking shoes is because those shoes are specially reinforced to take knocks, to help you to balance, to grip on unbalanced rocks and sand and grit and dirt, to be able to withstand changes in the weather like rain, like your feet sweating and expanding in the shoes. It's not about tolerating men for the whack people that they are. It's about adjusting your own sails for the wind, girl, because nobody is forcing you to date men. It's actually not by force. You don't have to do this. But since you insist on being here, what are you going to do to protect yourself and get the best you can get out of this experience? Because you cannot wait for men to do that for you. This ain't Disneyland, babe. This is men. Men are not going to curate themselves to give you the best possible experience. If you want a curated and thoughtful experience that has been tailored towards the target group, go to Disney World. But if you insist on dating men, you're going to also need to insist on seeing the world a little differently. You're going to have to become familiar with uncomfortable lines of thinking. And you're going to need to dislike men a little more than you're comfortable with disliking them, because men are not very likable people. And the women who dislike men tend to get the better men out of the bunch. You know why that is? Because the women who dislike men have a more in-depth understanding of how bad men are. And based on their in-depth understanding of how bad men are, they are willing to pick and choose what they actually want from men. And that's why I sleep very well at night. Look at my skin. If you're watching on video, look at my skin. Is it not stunning? Exactly. Because I sleep well. Because my nervous system is regulated. Yes. Because my life is actually not that stressful. Because there is not a man who is bringing stress into my life. Stress plays a huge role in women's life expectancy. And men are a huge proponent for stress. Yes. So because I don't like men and I think that they're very awful people, when I am interacting with men and I see some goodness in them, I pick and choose what I want to benefit from them. So that's why I only date men for their money. Because a man's money is way more effective and useful for me than his love. I'm already loved. I have men in my life who love me, and I love them too. I have family who love me. I have kids in my life who love me. I'm very, very loved. I have an audience of women who love me. Shout out to you guys. It's not everything I say you're going to agree with, and that's okay. I encourage you, I radically encourage you to be inspired by my unwavering sense of power and find your own power. And you will find your own power in your own way, because our lives don't look the same. What I am saying is that because I already have proof in my life that I can be loved and that I am loved, I don't look at men as a source of love. I look at them as a source of income. Just like how men see everything as a resource, including and especially women. Men see you as a source of orgasms, as a source of feeling validated in their manhood, as a source of attention. They're not looking at women and thinking, the opportunity to be seen, to be held, to be loved, to be understood, to finally feel affirmed as a human being, to finally have the opportunity to relax into my vulnerability and to see the world for the full spectrum of colour that it is, thanks to the love of a woman, to be able to be childlike again, to finally feel the freedom in letting go and accepting that despite my past, despite my childhood, despite how hard the world is, I can be loved. No, they're looking at you and they're seeing tits and bum and wet, warm hole that grips. I'm trying to tell you guys, you don't want to listen. You guys insist on disregarding the pattern that has played out in front of you for centuries, and you insist on thinking that you're the exception. That is what stupidity. And the stupidity can be broken today. It doesn't have to be this way. I promise you. So as someone who hates men, when I date men, I get the best out of them. Ever since I embraced hating men, I've been having the best dating experiences with men, because now I'm upfront about how selfish I am. Yes. And one thing about men, they like a woman who knows what she wants. What I really hate about men, especially the stingy man, is they love to say, oh, I love a woman who knows what she wants. But what they mean by that is they love a woman who knows what she wants sexually. They like it when you know what position is your favorite. They like it when you know whether you like your tits sucked or your pussy sucked. But what they don't like is when you know how much money you expect a man to be making if he's dating you. They don't like you knowing that. They don't want you to know what you want if what you want excludes them from the opportunity to sleep with you. These are the people you're dealing with. So I don't really understand how women are still looking at men as a source of endless, infinite love. These people want to use you and will continue to use you. And you know what I hate, about stingy men? They're usually not romantic either. So I don't know what you lot are doing there. You just want to have a man in the picture. You just can't be alone. You acted on impulse and now you're bound to this man because you've had a kid with him. That's very long. That's a long situation to be in. It's not impossible to get out of. If I was in a relationship with a stingy man and I've had a kid with him with the mindset I have now, his replacement is going to be a man who has money. It's as simple as that. You should cheat on your stingy husband with a man who's got money. That's what you should do. I very much encourage women cheating. Yes, I encourage a woman cheating on a man who is not financially providing for her with a man who's financially providing. What I don't encourage is cheating with a man who has no money. I don't know what you're doing there, girl. You should always be cheating upwards. Cheat in the direction of leveling up. Okay, good. Because women deserve the best. And sometimes the best is having a man who is going to take care of you and completely support everything you love doing. You have more time for your hobbies when you've got money. You guys could never make me stop liking money. Sorry. I like the freedom that money brings me. I like the fact that having money allowed me to pay for therapy. I like the fact that having money means I can pay my bills up front and I can spend more time nurturing my hobbies and being a more well-rounded human being. And having money means that I have access to what makes me happy. So in turn, money does bring happiness. They don't want women to believe that money brings happiness so that you'll be bound to broke men. And that's why romance is marketed towards women. Because broke men who have nothing to offer you can sell you romance and you, the mumu, will follow. That's why when you're dating stingy men, don't bother trying to be passive aggressive and complaining. He doesn't do this for me. He doesn't do that for me. They will not budge. They will not budge. And I hope that the next Valentine's Day that comes at the time of you listening to this, I hope we see a decline in these women who are like, my man didn't do anything for me on Valentine's Day because every day is Valentine's Day. That doesn't make any sense, girl. If he's romantic to you every day, then Valentine's Day is the one day where he will top the year's worth of romance. Wham! I'm not dating a man who's not romantic. You know what my list of expectations and requirements are of a man? It's a long list. You know why that list is long? Because men have a long list of what they expect from us. And guess what? We meet every single box on that list. Yeah, men want a woman who cooks, cleans, listens, forgives, respects them, raises their children, stays at home, throws it back on that dick, sucks that dick, splits the bills, is independent. Everything on that list, you can tick that in your sleep right now. So let me tell you my own list. Got to have money. I don't really care if he's tall or not, but taller than me. Nice physique. I'm not too fussed about his face. I need him to know how to cook because I can't cook, but I want a man who knows how to cook. Because after a long day of being sexy, I want to come home to a cooked meal. So a man who can cook. What else is on my list? Did I mention money already? Yeah. He also needs to be a good listener. He needs to be giving me good ideas. Like I want to be able to be creatively inspired by being around him. He needs to be sharp and witty because I have a very fast moving processor up in my head. I'm extremely intelligent. So he needs to be on that level too. He needs to be someone that I can get along with, a conversationalist. He needs to have a philosophical trait to him that makes me feel never bored of talking to him because I have a Gemini moon, so I get bored easily. I need to be around a man who I'm never bored of. So he needs to meet all of those things. People think that when I say that I prefer a man with money, that it's only money. No, he still needs to also meet the 15 other boxes on the list. Because men expect women to have money and be 15 other things at once and more. And women are meeting those boxes. So he must meet my boxes too. Yes. But the final point I want to make about this stingy man topic is Whatever you don't like about that man, assume it's never going to change. If you met that man being stingy, assume he's going to remain stingy. And you can make your own peace with that and hopefully make some decisions based on making peace with him being forever stingy. If you met that man being a weed smoker and you don't like the weed smoking, accept that he's going to be a weed smoker his whole life. Yeah, there might be breaks in between, but at some point the weed will be back and it will go and it will be back. Make your peace with that and make a decision based on you making your peace with that. If you met that man being a gambler, accept that he's always going to be a gambler. Even if he's telling you that he's actively working on his gambling, he's actively working on his weed addiction, he's actively working on being less stingy because he's trying to get more money up and trying to be more hardworking. Accept that it's not going to change. Assume that that man is not going to change. Because when you assume that the man you've met as he is with those flaws you see will remain with those flaws, you can then make an informed decision on whether these flaws are worth you staying for, because nobody is perfect. Especially not men. Especially not men. So weigh it up. Be honest with yourself. Is weed smoking something I can tolerate for the rest of my life? For some people, the answer is yeah. If the other things that are your non-negotiables are very much ticked on that box where he's a weed smoker, then if you're okay with that, then fine. But you've made your peace with it. So even if you express your discomfort towards him about the weed smoking and it's seeming like he said, okay, he's going to stop, but we'll have to see. You've already made peace with the possibility that he might start again, but you're not going to be floor ripped from under you, so upset. Oh my God, he's taken up the addiction again. Oh, we talked about this. What about me? Do you know what I mean? Because you've made your peace with it. So why it's so important to accept men for who they are and to make peace with the reality that you see them living in is because that allows you to then make your own decision on whether you want to tolerate this man, because now that's where you're accountable. Whilst I believe that men should not be stingy and that men should make themselves more appealing for women to select them for partnership, we're not going to see that world happen. And I don't think we should pretend like the world is going to change just because we want it to change. That's not how life happens, babe. Just because you want men to be different doesn't mean that they're going to be different. And you can't believe your way into men being different. You just have to meet them as they are. The men who are going to take care of you and be kind to you and be generous to you are already like that. Like I've already been able to experience being loved by a man in a way where I just know that he is my human safe space. And guess what? I still wouldn't marry him because everything else on the list isn't ticked. Can he buy me a house right now? No, he can't. I'm not marrying a man for love. I'm not marrying men because I love them. Like, love is one component on the list. What about the rest of the list? What about the rest of the things? If you don't have the rest of the things, I don't have to marry you to still love you. I enjoy being able to experience being loved by this man, and I enjoy being able to love him too. But I don't look at him and think this is my husband. I look at him and I think, you're amazing, man. I'm just glad we know each other. Like, oh my God, what? Life is beautiful. You are my proof that men can be great because it's intrinsic to their personality. Men can only be great if they want to be great. I did not make this man great. He has so many people in his life who he treats the same way he treats me, like, because it's his personality. He's a loving person. He's a kind person. That's who he is. He's not kind to me because one day he wants to see my tit. No, he's kind to me because he actually cares about me and because that's his personality. When he cares about people, this is how he shows it. So this is why it's important to find a man. Not find a man, because that's a limiting belief. Find men. Okay, we deal with plural around here, honey. Abundance. Find men who it's already in their personality to be kind and sincere. Don't be trying to bend and shoehorn men into what they're not, in the belief that if you get them to change, if you get them to stop being stingy and be generous for you, that means that they love you and you've kind of conquered this thing. Your job is not to conquer. Your job is to relax and be loved. It's men's job to conquer. Okay? And sometimes conquering looks like meeting a woman who has her guard up. like me, for example, and giving that woman tangible reason to lower her guard. And that looks like being generous, being sincere, being kind, keeping to your word, showing up, being intentional, witty, funny, safe to be around. I mean, if I meet a man like that, of course I'm going to lower my guard. But I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I really do. And I hope that this has given you some clarity on how to navigate stingy men, because like I said, stingy men are not going anywhere anytime soon. And your attraction to men is probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And that's okay. I don't think being attracted to men makes you a traitor to your well-being. I think what makes you a traitor to your own well-being is when you like men more than you like yourself. That's where we got a problem, honey. Anyway, as I always say, take care, and I'll catch you in the next episode.